Ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak to you today about a simple yet powerful concept that has the potential to change the course of your life. It's the idea of putting God first. Now, I'm not here to tell you how to practice your faith or to impose any particular belief system on you. What I am here to talk about is the concept of prioritizing something greater than yourself in a world that constantly encourages you to look inward, focus on your own desires, and chase after external success. So in today's fast-paced world, we are told over and over again to hustle, to grind, to achieve, to be successful. We are bombarded with messages telling us that the more we achieve, the more we accumulate, the more fulfilled we will be. But deep down, many of us know that this doesn't bring true fulfillment. You may achieve all the success, accumulate all the possessions, and still feel something is missing. The truth is, all the accolades, the titles, the material possessions, none of them can fill the deepest parts of your soul. They can't give you peace. They can't bring you lasting joy. And this is where putting God first becomes so crucial. When you put God first in your life, everything changes. Your perspective shifts. Your priorities are realigned, and what once seemed so important begins to feel insignificant. What you thought you couldn't live without suddenly doesn't hold the same value. You realize that true peace, true joy, and a sense of fulfillment can only be found when you surrender your life and your heart to something greater than yourself. That something for many of us is God. Now, I know putting God first isn't always an easy thing to do. Life can feel overwhelming, and it's easy to get caught up in the rush and the demands of the world around you. We live in a society that values achievement, wealth, and status. We are told that if we don't constantly push ourselves to do more, to be more, we are somehow failing. But the truth is, the more we focus solely on ourselves, the more we drift away from what truly matters. Let me ask you this: how many of you have ever found yourself chasing after something, only to realize it wasn't what you truly wanted? How many of you have worked tirelessly, given up your time and energy, only to look around and feel unfulfilled, like something is missing? This is what happens when we put everything else first and forget about putting God first. When we focus on our own strength, on our own willpower, we are limited by our own abilities. But when we put God first, we tap into a strength that's limitless. We open ourselves up to divine guidance, to wisdom, to a purpose far greater than anything we could have imagined on our own. Putting God first is about trusting in a plan that's bigger than our own. It's about recognizing that we don't have all the answers, that we can't control every aspect of our lives, no matter how hard we try. There are going to be times in your life when things don't go the way you want. You will face challenges, you will struggle, and you will face adversity. But when you put God first, you can have the confidence to know that no matter how difficult the situation is, there's always a way through. You're not alone. You're not just relying on your own strength. You have a Creator who knows your every need and is working on your behalf, even when you don't see it. One of the most profound aspects of putting God first is that it's not about perfection. It's not about having it all together. It's about surrendering control. It's about acknowledging that we don't have all the answers, that we can't always fix everything, and that we don't need to. It's about trusting that God has a plan for your life, a plan that's better than anything you could have dreamed up on your own. When you put God first, you begin to understand the true meaning of peace. It's not a peace that comes from circumstances. It's not a peace that depends on external things, whether that's money, relationships, or success. The peace that comes from putting God first is a deep, abiding peace that transcends your circumstances. It's a peace that says, no matter what happens, I trust that God is in control. I trust that He will provide, guide, and lead me through every situation. I don't need to know all the answers. I don't need to control every detail. I just need to trust that He's got it all under control. But let's talk about the real challenge. How do we make God the priority in a world that is constantly pulling us in a million different directions? It's not easy. We are busy. We are tired. We have responsibilities, obligations, and commitments. And it can be difficult to carve out time for the things that really matter. But here's the thing. When you put God first, you will find that everything else falls into place. You don't need to hustle and grind every minute of every day in order to succeed. You don't need to constantly worry about what's next. When you make God your priority, you trust that everything you need will be provided. Your job, your relationships, your health, they all come into alignment when God is at the center. Let me be clear, putting God first does not mean you won't face difficulties or hardships. Life is still going to present challenges, and you are still going to have to work hard. But when God is your priority, you will approach those challenges with a sense of purpose, with a sense of peace. You will have the strength and the resilience to face whatever comes your way because you know you are not doing it alone. God is with you. And with God by your side, there is nothing that can stand in your way. Another reason why putting God first is so important is that it changes the way you see the world. It changes how you see your work, your relationships, and even your challenges. You begin to see everything through a lens of gratitude because you recognize that everything you have, every blessing, every opportunity is a gift from God. Your focus shifts from what you don't have to what you do have. You start to appreciate the small things, the moments, the people, the opportunities that you might have overlooked before. Putting God first helps you cultivate a life of gratitude, and gratitude, as you may know, is the key to contentment and joy. But what about the people around you? What happens when you put God first in your life? I'll tell you this, it doesn't just change you, it changes everything around you. When you live your life with God at the center, when you live with a heart of gratitude, peace, and trust, you become an example to others. You inspire others to put God first in their lives. Your actions speak louder than your words. And when you live out your faith, when you put God at the center, you draw others to Him. Your life becomes a testimony to the goodness, grace, and power of God. As you continue on this journey of life, you will encounter many distractions, many temptations, many things that try to pull you away from your true purpose. But I want to remind you today that you were created for more. You were created for a life of purpose, of meaning, and of fulfillment. But that can only come when you put God first. When you do that, everything else falls into place. You find peace, you find purpose, and you find fulfillment. So I challenge you today to put God first. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for a more convenient time. The time is now. Put God at the center of your life, trust in His plan, and watch how He transforms you. Your life will never be the same again. Remember, this isn't about perfection. This isn't about having it all figured out. It's about trust. It's about surrender. It's about letting go of the need to control and giving God your heart, your life, and your plans. And when you do, you'll experience a peace that surpasses understanding, a joy that comes from within, and a life that's aligned with a purpose bigger than yourself. So go forward, put God first, and watch your life transform in ways you could never imagine. You were created for greatness, and when you put God at the center of your life, you'll find that greatness waiting for you. God has a plan for you. Trust in it, walk in it, and live it every single day. Putting God first is not just a choice, it's a transformative way of living. It's a commitment to trusting in a higher purpose, to acknowledging that we don't have all the answers, and that we don't have to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders alone. When we put God first, everything else falls into place. Our priorities shift, our perspective broadens, and we begin to experience a peace and fulfillment that surpasses our understanding. Life will still have its challenges, its uncertainties, and its hardships, but with God guiding us, we can face them with courage, faith, and resilience. We no longer have to rely solely on our own strength because we know that there is a greater power at work, orchestrating every step of the way. And as we trust in God's plan, we will see that He has something far better in store for us than anything we could have planned on our own. So I encourage you to make the choice today to put God first. Trust that His plan for you is greater than anything you could imagine. Let go of the need to control everything and allow His guidance to lead you toward a life of purpose, peace, and fulfillment. The journey may not always be easy, but when you put God first, you can walk it with confidence, knowing that you are never alone. When you put God first, you unlock the true potential of your life. You begin to live with intention, with faith, and with a sense of purpose that transcends the fleeting pursuits of this world. And in doing so, you not only transform your own life, but you become a light to others, inspiring them to do the same. So remember this, you don't have to do it alone. Put God first and watch how He leads you to a life beyond your wildest dreams. Your purpose, your joy, your peace, they all begin when you choose to surrender to Him. Trust Him, follow Him, and let His love and grace guide you every step of the way.